On October 31st, 1941, Bakhmut was occupied by Nazi troops. Repressions of civilians, searches, violence and executions began in the city. 2 years later, when the Nazis were driven out of Bakhmut, it became known that the total number of victims during the occupation was more than 14,000 people, including about 3,000 Jewish men, children and women whose bodies were found bricked up in the alabaster mine. Svitlana Kravchenko's family managed to save 2 Jewish boys.
My grandmother Natalia Ivanivna Kravchenko received the Righteous Among the Nations Award. On this award it is written, "Who saved one life has saved the whole world." During the German occupation of Bakhmut, my grandmother saved 2 Jewish boys, and until the liberation of our city, they lived in our family. The Nazis did not enter their house in the center of Bakhmut because they feared tuberculosis, which Svitlana's grandfather had. The family history was a mystery to Svitlana until she found her grandfather's letter from the Gulag hidden under the roof of the house. That's how she learned that he had been repressed by Soviets. Bakhmut is one of the thousands of towns that were subjected to Soviet repressions. It is important to tell that in our city park under the dance floor there is a burial ground of 1936-1938 that thousands of people were shot back then. We had 3 NKVD prisons in the city itself. It is worth telling that these are not burials of those shot by the Nazi invaders, as we used to say, but the burials that took place in the year of 1937 as a result of repression by the Soviet authorities. Today, Russia continues using the strategy of the Soviet Union. Historians speak of 2 genocides that Bakhmut experienced.
That is exactly what it looks like. Shootings. Back then, the Nazis exterminated 3,000 people, bricked up alive. Most of them were Jews. The same sin is being done to Ukrainians now. It is genocide. It is the same sin. If you are a Jew, you will be exterminated. Those were Nazis, and now there are Russians here. Are you Ukrainian? You must be destroyed just because you are Ukrainian. We felt this back in 2014, when we simply heard the Ukrainian language from a person who spoke it entire life, and that was enough to become an enemy.
The history of Bakhmut is now being reinterpreted in art. Every photo, video, document and installation is a record of the crimes of Russians.
In 2021, before the full-scale invasion, we were making a film. I was working there as the main artist. Just about 2014, the end of the Maidan, the beginning of the war, and I was talking a lot with the military while doing expositions. I haven't been to Bakhmut once, but this project of mine, it is about shared memory. Bakhmut is the image of such stories. We have many towns where this tragedy took place, where the Soviet government, now the Russian government, has taken over our traditions and destroyed our memories.
But there are people in Bakhmut who remember and do their best to preserve traditions and historical memory. I took out a collection of old clothes that were worn in the Donetsk region, and in general my collection had folk clothes, rushniki, paintings, unfortunately not all of them. That was my hobby, collecting. A lot of it was from my family's heritage. Bakhmut is a Ukrainian city. I have family pictures of my father, his brothers in embroidered vyshyvankas. This is the 1950s. Embroidered vyshyvanka in Soviet times, it's not just a decoration, it's a possession. Svitlana left the town after the beginning of the full-scale Russian invasion. Now Bakhmut is practically destroyed by the Russian military. However, Svitlana is confident that she will be able to return home.
My house is in the city center. The center is occupied. It's in a park area. I don't have any pictures. The military guys I know said there are 2 walls left, but it's not like I can know that for sure. We'll definitely come back. The occupiers are leaving scorched earth behind. I was told that they are even removing headstones from a cemetery so that they can use them later, I guess. So our city will be cleansed. What else can I say?
Svitlana has a goal, after returning to Bakhmut, to create a museum where everyone will be able to see her collection of antique items related to the history of her region. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Angelika Brushnevska, UATV News.